Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Former Sister star Tia Mowry is a very open person that is not afraid to speak out on issues important to her. Tia recently discussed raising her son in today's world, where there are so many innocent people killed because of the colour of their skin. Mowry was asked how she feels about being the parent of a black son when so many mothers have had to bury their sons that were killed at the hands of police officers. Tia responded, "I have a son who is black and who is going to be growing up in a society such as this. It's a conversation that I have had with my husband all the time about what are we going to tell Cree." Mowry continues, "It is a conversation that I have on a regular basis with my husband, actor Hardrict. I'm a huge advocate about Black Lives Matter, and for a while I had a hard time sleeping. I really did, because I have a son who is black and who is going to be growing up in a society such as this. It's a conversation that I have with my husband all the time about what are we going to tell Cree? What are we going to say to him so that he is not put in any circumstance with what's going on? And it's hard. It's hard to face that reality, and I just have to be really honest with you. My dad is white, and my dad used to be a police officer, and he quit. The one thing that he told me was that when a police officer pulls you over, make sure your hands are at 10-2 and make sure it stays there. For my dad to tell me that, who's white and used to be a police officer, to his black daughter, I think it says a lot. And this was when I started driving. This was years ago. These are the things that my husband and I, when we're talking about our son, it's sad that we have to tell him that you cannot give anybody any reason whatsoever so that you are not put into that situation. You get what I'm saying? But I think what I'm spotlighting is having the conversation and talking about it and saying, unfortunately, you are not, in my opinion, treated equally in a situation like that. So if you educate yourself and know that you aren't, unfortunately, then you have to take those precautions. It's having the conversation and talking to them about the reality of the situation, because when you don't look at the reality, then you'll end up doing something and you'll find yourself being mistreated. The former actress feels it's a conversation that needs to be had with children when they are young. Tia adds, "You tell them early, and what's interesting is I'm comfortable speaking about this because my dad's white, my mom's black. So my point is that I see two sides. Growing up when I was in my mom's house, I just saw my mom, I just saw my dad, but it was after I was called a name, which was the N-word. When I was in 3rd grade, I went home. I told my mom, and that's when she had to say, 'Look, Tia, you're black, your dad's white.' But again, I credit my mom and my dad too. I was 8, 3rd grade. I had to have the conversation. I think you should talk about it, but because it's the reality of the situation." Mowry concludes by stating, "You can't run from it. It's better to know. I always like to say this too, and it's not like I'm taking away the energy from anything else, but I'm all for things. I see prejudice with not only skin colour, I see prejudice with sometimes being a woman. I see prejudice with sexual preference. I see prejudice with social economical status. I'm an advocate for why can't we all just not focus on our differences and embrace that we are all human beings." Thanks for listening. Please like, comment and subscribe.